Yes, folks, hello, welcome to yet another action figure review here on the MoDXtra Games and Collectibles channel. And as you can see on my little lightbox stage here, today's installment, we're going to be taking a closer look at Ryu from the Jada Toys Street Fighter 2 line. So hang around. If you've been thinking about picking up a Ryu of your own, then I'm going to share some thoughts that will hopefully help you make up your mind. I'm going to talk about the aesthetic and the visual experience of the character. I'm going to talk about the articulation and the movement and posing experience of the character. And then we're going to take a closer look at the accessories and added value to see what else is in there for our money to enhance our play experience. So let's get into it. Let's not dilly-dally around and let's take a closer look at Ryu together. Okay, folks, confession time. I didn't originally plan on reviewing Ryu. I didn't plan on reviewing him at all on the channel. I just figured he'd been around in North America for so long that if anyone had a true burning desire to hear a YouTuber chat about their thoughts on the figure, they'd have seen it already. But spoiler alert, it's going to be a positive review. I've enjoyed the figure that much that I wanted to sit down and lay down some thoughts on it. But what that meant was, the regular viewers will know that I usually like to record the live unboxing of the figure and get my reaction to the packaging and the casting my eyes on the fig for the very first time. And I've not done that because I wasn't planning on reviewing it. You know, I don't review everything I buy for my collection. It's a simple fact of the matter. So here I am reviewing a figure without the live unboxing, but I did want to take a moment just to say, look at the packaging. Really love what Jada Toys has done here. So I still wanted to reference it because I like the nostalgic thing they're tapping into here. The old arcade machine shape and design there. Look at the way the window display for the figure is cut away, and we've got the old joysticks and buttons for the two-player arcade machine on the front. Got the old HUD information from the game Street Fighter 2 across the top there, and all this great classic artwork, even the backdrop from the game on the card back behind the window. Lovely. And then great artwork up the sides. Lovely classic Japanese artwork on that side. Even more on this side, and then just a little description of the figure here, and then on the back. The lamps are reflecting a bit brightly on the plastic of the packaging, but you can see it's showing off all the figures in this wave, Chun-Li, Ryu, and Fei Long, and then got the old character select design across the bottom. Perhaps also indicating their intention to release a figure for each and every one of the Street Fighter 2 characters. So yeah, not a standard unboxing, but I did want to pause and talk about this awesome packaging because it's a really nice touch, and I love what they've done with it. So thumbs up on that one, Jada Toys, for sure. Right, let's take a close look at the dude, shall we? Okay then, folks, well, here's Ryu, and let's get talking about the aesthetic qualities. Let's talk about the visual experience of the figure. Just pause now and soak him in. I'm sure you'll agree. I hope you'll agree. There's a lot to like about the aesthetic qualities, the visual experience of this figure. The least of which, of course, is that they've managed to capture all the key visual identifying features that us aiming gamer fans would associate with the character of Ryu, and lifted them off that two-dimensional form and realised them in quite a lovely three-dimensional plastic 6-inch figure. So everything you would look for that tells you straight away, you know, that's Ryu. The white gi, the black belt, the sparring gloves, the headbands, the facial features, everything is communicating Ryu from Street Fighter. You know, straight away it is uniquely that character, right down to the torn bottoms of his trousers there, but in this lovely three-dimensional form with these extra kind of modern elements that we've now become accustomed to in action figure collecting thrown in the mix as well. And I'm going to call it out right now up top. Yeah, I think there's a lot to like visually about this guy. Really enjoyed this figure on that front. Bringing him a little bit nearer to the camera then so we can conduct a closer inspection of some of these details I am talking about. Let's start with the head sculpt there. So we've got wonderful sculpting on the hair, great facial features, nice definition in the nose, the cheeks, the lips, etc., etc. Lovely, neat and tidy paint applications in the eyebrows, the headband, the eyes, etc. Although, if we take a look on the side there, I think, can you see on the cheek, I've got a little bit of paint spillage. Looks like a bit of black from maybe the eyebrows or something. But overall, nice paint applications. The intent was certainly of a high quality. I think it struck a nice balance between the more cartoony video game two-dimensional style of the character's, you know, facial image with the three-dimensional facial image, so the features are well defined. I suppose it could be argued that the facial expression is a little bit vanilla, but I like to interpret that as has a bit more of a serious, focused martial artist kind of facial expression going on there. I particularly enjoy how the eyebrows go over the top of the headband, very much acknowledging the more kind of video game cartoony roots where they're sort of animated above the headgear, you know what I mean, which is really nice. But yeah, great head sculpt. And then looking further down the figure, you can see lots of nice fabric textures in the gi and on his belt here, and they're sculpted really nicely. Some paint applications with some Japanese characters across the end of his black belt. That's all very lovely, and it's all sculpted in with the tears around the shoulders and the tears down the bottom of the trousers on his gi. You can see all that lovely texture detail in there. It's very, very nice. Lots to appreciate there, and that continues in all areas of the outfit, which I'm a big fan of. And then the musculature, you know, well sculpted musculature. Again, it strikes that right tone with the exaggerated, you know, street fighting, mystical sort of element of the game, you know, the mythology of the game. So it's a little bit over the top, a little bit exaggerated, but well sculpted. You can see these veins and stuff in his arms and such like. So yeah, the musculature is well sculpted. Colour scheme wise, again, it's they've followed the traditional colour scheme of the character from the game. So he's got a white gi, he's got his black belt, he's got his red trimmings, and then obviously the skin tones on the flesh areas that are on display. The white actually of the gi is a little bit of an off-white. It's not particularly over the top bright white. In fact, I don't know how well this is coming out on the camera with my lighting rig, but can you see the two-tone difference there between this section of leg that sits under his arse cheeks normally to the section of leg beyond that point and down. So I think maybe they've applied a bit of a spray or a wash to the fabric textures to take a little bit of the brightness out, perhaps. I'm not sure what's going on there. Either that or mine just came out of the box dirty. I don't know if you can see that there, but it's definitely there. The skin tones are a little bit inconsistent. It stands out particularly here with the skin tones of the chest area compared to the neck and the arms, but the feet are also a little bit different too. It's not hugely, it's not egregious. It's not massively distracting, but you do notice it, especially when, you're a YouTube reviewer and you really closely inspect the figures before you make your notes to comment on. But it's there. You can see the difference in the skin tones at various points. So it's not a big deal, but it's something to draw attention to, I suppose. So not a great deal else to say, really. I just think it's a wonderful visual experience. I've enjoyed the figure very much from that point of view, and I'm giving it a thumbs up on the that first review area, the aesthetic for sure. Just got everything I would want visually from a Street Fighter 2 Ryu figure in 3D form. So yeah, recommends on that front. Let's now take a closer look at the articulation, shall we? Well, folks, kicking off the articulation section of the review, and I'm going to cut to the chase up top once again. This guy articulates good. There is an extraordinary amount of posing potential that I've discovered with this figure, and spoiler alert, it's going to be positive because I've been really impressed with what Jada Toys have managed to do with this guy. All right, getting started above the shoulders, then with the head, we've got a ball at the top of the head, ball at the bottom of the neck, which gives us really good down, decent up, full Exorcist 360, tilt, swivel, all that good stuff. Lots of motion, nice and smooth, lovely jubbly in there, which you want from your highly skilled martial artists for sure. Hinging the armpits, giving us a nice T-shape. Swivel all the way around. Butterfly joint there in the shoulder as well, giving us some nice shuffle forward and back, just to really get into those massive striking killer blows. Swivel there at the top of the bicep and tricep. Nice pinless elbow, getting you all the way up to there. And then pinned hands in the wrists, which go all the way round, and they've both got a hinge forward and back. Diaphragm cut there, giving us some swivel up top. It's a little bit obstructed by the top of the gi, although you can take that off, and I'll demonstrate that in just a second. And then we've got the swivel at the waist with a ball joint there, giving some nice forward ab crunch, a nice bend back. Good and flexible in the groin area as well, so we've got full-on splits there. Strong forward. Swivel at the top of the thigh. More great pinless joint action in the knees, which gets us all the way up to there. And then we've got Swivel on the ankles, which is just above the trouser line there, so you don't see it. And a hinge and rocker on the feet. You can take the gi off as well if you want him to, you know, be topless. There's a little pop stud there, so you can just remove it like so, and then pull that like so, and then just remove it over the sleeve, over the shoulders. And there you go, there's your topless Ryu, which you know, further illustrates that musculature sculpting I was talking about earlier on, right down to the nips. But also you can see the diaphragm cut, the butterfly joint, the waist much better. With his top off though, the diaphragm cut and the waist, you can see these gaps sometimes, so you might want to avoid that. But one thing I did want to point out, sort of while I was on the articulation, I don't know if you noticed that as I was sort of manhandling the figure through the walkthrough, but he might look to your eye on, you know, watching a video of it, that the articulation is a bit loose, but I assure you it's not. Well, it is, but it's like good loose, like silky loose. It's compliant is the way I would describe it, because it's not like, you know, you put him in a pose and it's not dropping loose, or if you were to put something heavy in his hands, you know, like when you get a loose G.I. Joe classified and then the gun starts to make the arm droop and stuff. There's none of that going on. It's like a lovely, silky, smooth looseness to it. Very compliant and easy and nice, but all with the right amount of resistance at every point. There's not a single part of the articulation that I haven't found to be just sort of right in that respect. They've really nailed it on that front. I'm very, very happy with the figure in terms of the articulation. The only criticism, if there was one, is more of an aesthetic criticism, and that is that I find the ankles a little bit ugly because of the way the hinge is, and because of the longer feet that they've gone for in order to do some of that more ambitious articulating, where you can get him to sort of stand up independently on one leg. You know, I'll take bigger boat feet if that's an example of, of what I can get, because look at that, it's amazing. How many other figure lines have you come across where you can get people to stand on one foot like that? So, folks, yeah, it's a firm 2 thumbs up when it comes to the articulation. I've really enjoyed this element of the figure and highly recommend it if you're looking for something that is super posable with a huge range of possibility. It does take a little bit of patience and a wee bit of fiddling, but nowhere near as much as I've experienced with any other line, and I've enjoyed displaying and posing this figure a great deal over the last couple of days. So, yeah, if you're into posing stuff, and you want to do really cool martial arts style poses, this is your guy. So let's talk accessories and added value next, folks. And there's a few bits that Jada Toys are throwing in for us to get our money's worth out of the figure. We'll start with the other head sculpt, which is this one here. A much more kind of action-orientated, gritted teeth, grimacing Ryu. More of an action-focused head sculpt. Still got the same level of defined facial features and sculpting quality, along with, you know, matching paint application spills on the cheek, but on the opposite side, just to give it a bit of a bit of balance. But yeah, lovely paint applications in the eyes, the teeth. The hair sculpt is up to the same standard as the kind of main core head that's on there, so that's all really lovely. And obviously with some of the more combat focused style poses that you'll want to get him into, this is an excellent head sculpt to throw into the mix. And that's your standard pop the head off, pop the head on deal. There you go. Then we've got some hand swaps here, one for each hand, the left and the right hand. Again, got the same textured detail on the sparring gloves, but these are, well, I'm not much of a martial artist, so I don't know what that hand position is called, but I've seen martial artists do it, so there you go. Got this additional hand options as well. Then we have some special move superpower action in the form of his Hadouken fireball, blue fireball thing, which is a really lovely piece of accessory to throw in the mix. Nicely sculpted, got the kind of transparent blue plastic there. You can see some of the mold lines in there, but that's perfectly excusable with a figure of this nature. But one of the nice touches, if you look in there, you can see the glowing hands, the continuation of the glowing hands as they appear in the video game, which is a lovely touch. And then what we've got, you can see here, we've got a little peg hole which goes with this little flexible stand here. It's got 2 points of articulation in there, and you peg the fireball in like so that you can, you know, line it up with whatever sort of display you're trying to do. You can have it firing upwards, you can have it sticking forwards, you can have it at foot kicking height, fist height, you know, whatever suits your fancy. It's a lovely, lovely piece of work. So the accessory selection's not enormous, it's not massive, but it's thoughtful and it ties into the character's identity, the kind of key features that we recognise of Ryu from the video game. And for that, I'm grateful for that and thankful. And, you know, at a $24.99 price point, I think the accessory selection, along with the quality of articulation and sculpt, is brilliant. So, yeah, thumbs up on the accessories front. Thank you very much, Jada Toys. So here we are then, folks. Here is Ryu making his way around on the turntable. I've gone for a very kind of traditional... I've tried to reflect that kind of key core standing stance that he has in the video game there, in the way I've had him displayed on my special new hotness shelf over the last couple of days. And I don't think there's much more to add in this final thoughts section. I've spoken very positively about the experience of the figure. I'm very happy with it. I think it's worth the price tag. They've, you know, really given us value for money in terms of what it's capable of and what it looks like and what they've thrown in as added extras. It's had thumbs up all round on my kind of core review points of aesthetic, articulation, and accessories, stroke added value. So yeah, solid figure. Definitely a recommends if you're into the video game, if you're looking for highly articulated figures, if you want to do some fun karate stuff. He's top notch. Very, very enjoyable figure. So there we go. If you're thinking about picking up a Ryu, I would recommend you do so, because I've had a lot of fun with him over the last couple of days for sure. All right then, folks. Well, there we go. There's my review of Ryu. If you found this useful today, then please do take a moment to head on down and give us the old thumbs up. Do all the YouTubey things. Press buttons, please, folks. So thumbs up button, and then obviously hit super thanks and send me thousands and thousands of dollars to say thank you for the review and all that kind of good stuff. But if you're not already subscribed, I'd really appreciate you taking a moment to hit the subscribe button. My analytics are telling me that like 70-75% of you folks out there aren't subscribed to the channel, but you're returning viewers. That's the interesting thing, how many returning viewers I have compared to how many people are subscribed. So it doesn't take you a moment, but it means ever so much to me. So yeah, there we go. I've finished again, and he's not facing the front. Come on, Ryu. Come on, mate. Vamp a little bit. You can definitely see how big his feet look there, can't you? There you go. And he's around the front. Okay, see you later, folks. Bye-bye now.